Hello guys, what's up? Today we're gonna be doing another reaction video to someone that be quite familiar with the channel at this point, Necrit. But it's not his like typical content that we're gonna be reacting to. He actually uploaded his first Stray video, and it's a little video about Stray, and I'm really into like Stray and like how cute that game is, and actually the lore too. So it's actually cool that we actually have lore about the game, because like yeah, people upload other stuff about what the ending means and how like the story means, or like the general feeling, but we never had someone, I don't think, that video that dived deep into the lore, and Neckhead is like the first one ahead of that curve, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, he's been saying that throughout this year he's gonna be doing more than league content, due to the current state of legal lore, unfortunately. But yeah, this one should be really interesting. I'm actually really interested how this video is gonna go for him, and yeah, we're gonna react to it. It's gonna be awesome. All right, let's go. All right, let's do it, guys.
When Stray was first presented to people, it appeared to be a fun little cat simulator,
Yeah,
where you go on a silly adventure through a cyberpunky city. Since we all safely assumed there would be no content,
this game looks
here,
beautiful.
I
Also,
expected an adventure puzzle game with a hint of
like the cute cats in contrast,
of
everything else gloomy and dark.
Limbo.
It's pretty cool.
I think it's safe to say that's exactly what we got. What
Yeah.
I didn't expect is that Stray would turn a lot darker. And above
Yes,
that, I
very.
didn't expect Stray to become my favorite piece of video game lore of 2023, beating giants like Elden Ring or God of War. And it's definitely not for the reasons you expect. So let's talk about how a single cat introduced an entire universe worth exploring.
God damn, it's so cute. This game really did deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Gameplay is often a gateway into
It was
a good
definitely one of the best
story, and
indies.
none prove
Yeah.
it more than Stray. As many of you know, Stray was nominated for the Game of the
Oh,
Year.
there we go. He mentioned
From
it.
the
There you go.
beginning, it was clear that Elden Ring had the upper hand, with God of War being a recent hit, so the views might have been skewed a bit. But somehow, throughout the entire year, Stray stayed up there with the greatest hits. And even now, it is still sitting at 95% positive rating on Steam. So why is that? Could it be that the main protagonist is a cat which gave the game free internet points? Or could it be that the game evoked the player's secret personas?
Could be both.
You really enjoy playing this game, huh?
I can't get him off! Well, it comes down to two very simple factors. First of all, the game is really good at immersing you by wasting your time, which is by design. As a cat owner myself, I can confirm if there is one thing cats are really good at, it is wasting their time. As well as yours. While you're on your
so
main
odd
adventure,
seeing
you
the cat go
always
through the
find
bucket like
things
that
to
to
do
him.
on the side for fun. Be it knocking stuff down, scratching stuff, scratching more stuff, or drinking stuff. And of course, if there is a comfy spot, you can take a nap. And if you are a lunatic, you will stay there for an hour. All of these things are
There's
totally
actually an award or
optional.
achievement for
You
that.
gain
That's crazy.
absolutely nothing by pretending to play a game of pool. But it's just really hard not to use your tiny paws to screw with things. And especially if you are playing on PS5 with that insane haptic feedback. Pulling triggers really makes you feel like you have cat paws.
That
In
must be
fact,
so
the
good.
game is so good at wasting your time that most players spend over 5 hours in the game, while the main story is only 2 hours long.
Oh,
No,
wow.
really, there is an achievement for that. All you need to do to get it is just not do any of the cat side activities, which is so bloody hard to do. Another thing the game doesn't get a lot of
That's really
praise
cool
for
game
is the
design,
horror
actually. That's
elements.
amazing.
It has elements of a horror game, but it is not a scary game, which is extremely rare for a game to pull off successfully. Every director of horror media, be it a film or a game, thinks that every horror video game has to have jump scares. It makes sense because you are holding the controller so you can feel the impact. So no matter how good of a horror game it is, you always find jump scares in them. And yet, here's Stray, a game that perfectly presents you horror without any cheap scares. Not a lot of games do this, but it is amazing when it works. The second big factor of this game's success is the story. I think it should go without saying that we are gonna talk about spoilers. What's crazy to me is that while the majority of the players really enjoyed the chill and, at times, chilling story, the story was just fine. It's a story of a cat that falls down a hole and drops into a closed city. From that
That
point
interesting.
on, you are
It's pretty
simply
sad
trying
when he
to reach
falls
the
down.
surface.
That's pretty
If there
sad.
is an obstacle, you find a way to bypass the obstacle. But even by the end
And
of
the
the
world design
adventure,
is so
the cat
cool
doesn't
too.
really
It's
develop
so
any new
interesting.
motivations, and it doesn't grow its own character. That's besides developing some relationships. Ultimately, it is just trying to go back home. And I love that. You see, Stray is an
Same.
excellent example of the difference between a story and
Like,
lore.
look at this like
A
level and
story
world
is
design. Like,
focused on a
so
hero.
cool.
In this case, the game presents the story of the cat. But while the story of the cat is just fine, it's nothing mind-blowing, the lore that's happening in the background and which is secretly telling you what is happening in the world is mind-blowing.
Oh, wait, here we go.
And I am pretty sure this approach to the story is by design. After all, you are a cat, and so the grand problems of the universe are probably less important to you than sharpening your claws. You see, on your little adventure, you pick up pieces of world building. The robots tell you that they once lived with humans. But later, humans left. You learn that humans developed a bacteria that was supposed to eat trash. But after humans left, it started eating everything. And you also learn that your little drone friend used to be a human who uploaded himself into a computer. And you also learn that the entire story has been rolling out in the background over 7 million years. None of these pieces of lore affect the story of the cat at all. Your perception of the story of the cat remains the same. But if you decide to piece everything together, you learn about the lore of Stray's universe. And that's where things go insane. It is clear that the developers spent a lot of time building this universe. Because whenever you think that you found something that doesn't make sense, the chances are there is already an answer for you. Okay, I don't think anyone can explain that. Perhaps the only bigger critique of the story is that you are playing as a cat, and yet you are very sentient. I mean, when was the last time you saw a cat communicate? And no, pooping in the corner doesn't count. As I mentioned, the story of Stray rolled out over 7 million years. That is 7 million years of time for anything on Earth to evolve. For comparison, this is what humans looked like 7 million years ago. Yeah, I think cats had enough time to get smarter. So with this hiccup cleaned up, let's move on. And let's talk about the rich lore you can piece together if you pay attention to the background. Near the end of the game, we learned that this story is happening in the walled city 99. Very long time ago, there was a disaster which made the entire Earth uninhabitable. We never learned what really happened, but we know that walled city 99 was built as a result of that. It is essentially a giant capsule city that was supposed to help humans survive. Some even called it the safest city in the world. Ironic. To help them do their daily chores, the humans built themselves the droids. These droids were programmed to do simple tasks, such as cleaning or taking care of their plants.
But they evolved
and
too,
so,
right?
humans safely lived in walled city 99 together with their robotic companions. Now, before we continue with the storyline, we need to mention the biggest misdirection this game throws at you. This game is really trying to sell you the idea that these simple helper robots evolved into the smart droids which we find in the game. There are many points in the game that hint that the droids developed their own AI. They started by mimicking humans, but eventually ended up creating art of their own. But if you think about it, that would be impossible. And yes, I know we are talking about a fictional sci-fi world. But even so, an AI only ever does what you tell it to do. At the end of the day, even self-learning is just a pre-programmed algorithm. So unless you specifically give them the ability to learn, the robots would never break their own program. I mean, if we leave Earth, it's not like the Roombas are gonna take over the world even if we give them quadruple the time. I know it's over-exaggerating, but the point is the same. Also, if the droids evolved their own AI, How come the droids near the surface are still dumb? If their consciousness was the result of their own
True.
evolution, there would be some kind of AI improvement, even if just a tiny one, in all of them,
Yeah.
regardless of where the droids are. So yes, the game is secretly feeding you proofs that all of this is just a misdirection, and that the truth is a lot darker. So let's continue with what actually happened. The massive piping system underneath the city tells us that they could recycle
This is
their
a really
own
interesting
water.
video.
The presence of
Really
plants
cool
everywhere
learning about
shows
the
us
games
that they
like
had a
this.
way to grow plants for oxygen even without sunlight. And since the cat was able to fall into the city, it means the city wasn't completely sealed off, there had to be some form of airflow. But as the city kept running, it ran into a really big problem. In the game we learned that the Neko Corporation developed a bacteria that could eat trash. And it absolutely
Right.
makes sense why they did this. In a closed city, you don't have too many options to deal with trash. You can't bury it if you are
That's
using
true.
the underground for clean water, and you can't burn it because all the fumes would stay in the city. So using a bacteria to consume it makes the most sense. However, something went wrong, and soon the bacteria started afflicting humans too. This started what the game refers to as the plague. It didn't matter where you were or at what level of the city you lived. The plague afflicted all living beings. And B12 mentions in the game, it quickly started killing everything. That's why, besides the cat that fell down into the city, there are no living beings. This includes animals. The only ones we know about are frogs, which you can hear in the swamps, which kinda makes sense because frogs are somewhat like roaches. They can survive a lot. And occasionally you can see pigeons, which makes sense, just like
The
the cat,
lighting
they
and
can just
atmosphere
fly
of this
in
game
there.
is so pretty.
But of course, the droids, who are nothing but metal, remained unaffected, which gave humans one last chance at survival. Humans could scan their brains and upload themselves into the droids. Yes, it is extremely likely that all the sentient droids are humans. I first started suspecting
Oh
this
wow,
after I saw
Gachi
two
made a
droids
model.
refer to each other as a father and a son.
That's so
Even
cool.
though
Actually,
droids
that's
can't really
amazing.
have parental relationships unless one builds the
Great work,
other.
Necrit. Great work.
And
You're
after
amazing,
this, the
dude.
game gives us a lot of evidence as to what is really happening. B12 straight up mentions
Yeah, the voice
that
effect
he
and
was a
everything.
scientist who tried to upload himself
Right.
into a droid. But in the process, the data got corrupted and he was stuck in a computer. The first time we find him, we
That was
can
really
actually
dope.
see the droid which
That was
he
really
was
cool.
trying to upload himself into. But we can also find this pod, which is where his real body would be. That is, if it was more than dust after such a long time. We know these pods were used for scanning people because B12 recollects his memories the first time he sees one of these pods in the Ant Village. B12 also mentions that the plague killed his entire family, hinting that was the reason why he tried to upload himself in the first place. And there is more evidence throughout the entire game. Wherever you go, you can see the droids are acting like humans. They wear clothing, they
That's
show
true.
real emotions, they go to a bar and get drunk.
How does that work?
I'm still not sure how that's possible.
Yeah.
They even blink like humans, but because droids don't have to blink, their blinks are on a set time interval. But throughout all of this, it seems like they are all simply living through their past human habits, just like how muscle memory would work. And some even admitted that they are doing this to prolong the human legacy. But if that's the case, if all droids are uploaded humans, why does nobody remember it? Why does everyone keep addressing themselves as droids who serve the humans? Well, there are two theories for that. First of all, B12 mentioned that his memory got corrupted as a side effect of the upload. So perhaps the technology couldn't fully transfer all your memories. But since B12 was able to regain those memories by looking at the pod, surely there would be other droids who could also remember. So that's why there is my own theory number 2. At the end of the game, Clementine mentions that she will keep you in her RAM. Now, ironically, RAM is the short-term memory of your computer. But if anything, it confirms that their memories are stored in their physical hardware. This could be paired together with an interesting twist on the idea of invincibility. In some fantasy worlds, writers give their invincible characters negative traits to make them more interesting. And sometimes it's the fact that even though a character is invincible and they can live infinitely, their mind is finite. As someone who has a bit of history with League's lore, in that universe that is exactly how Vladimir works. Vladimir can infinitely sustain his own body using blood magic,
throw some League in this
but the
video.
longer he lives,
Just live
the
it.
more he forgets what came before. In a similar way, we can believe that the droids don't remember that they are humans because they lived for so long. So yeah, the dark truth is, as a last resort, humans uploaded themselves into the droids to survive the plague. But that's not where things stopped. You see, since all living beings were wiped out, the bacteria had nothing to eat. All living humans were now made out of metal. And so, as evolution would dictate it, the bacteria evolved into eating metal as well. And because metal is not easy to digest, the plague most likely did it by evolving into the Zerg, who act as the main enemy in the game. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing the plague did. As you enter the sewers during the game, you also find out the plague evolved into a hive mind. Again, explaining all of this doesn't affect the story of the cat. But yet again, this started insane theories of their own, which only confirms the insanity of the developers. You see, based on its behavior, it seems like the hive mind is not capable of any massive movement to gain sustenance. And it seems like it is specifically using the Zerg as its hunters, similar to how ants use workers to sustain the colony. However, the Zerg have a weakness. Just like a lot of bacteria on Earth, the Zerg can be destroyed with UV light. Yeah. Remember when the world thought the 2020 problems would go away with the summer? Anyway, it seems like the hive mind is aware of this weakness. And so, there is one last theory that gives this universe one more
That is
twist.
so creepy looking.
And it all sprawled out of this droid. You get to meet him down in the sewers, but unlike all the other droids, this one is not being consumed, despite being caught in the very center of the hive mind. The theory goes that this droid is here because the hive mind is learning from it. Previously, humans used the droids to escape death, and now, after learning and adapting, it seems like the hive mind is trying to do the same. It is also trying to upload itself into the droids. In fact, if you walk closer to the droid, you may notice that it starts following your movement
Shrek will honestly
in the
make it like a great movie.
way
Very
as
people
the
love a
eyes
Shrek
of
movie
the
just
hive
based off
mind,
the lore alone.
which proves us that the droid and the eyes are linked. And if you're wondering why the hive mind would be doing this, well, it's simple. The Zergs can't
Even like a
go
show
to
would be
the
amazing,
sunlight.
like a
The
love
metal
and
droids
love
sure
sex and
can.
robots short.
So after possessing a few droids,
that'd be cool.
the hive mind can keep growing. This is what makes the very end of the game creepy. There are currently two theories as to what happens at the very end.
I love Death
When
and
you
Robots and
finally
sex and
open
robots.
Wall
I know
City
why I said
99, you can see
love
computer
Death and
screens
Robots.
lighting up outside the city. Some people believe it is because B12 uploaded itself into the main framework. I am totally fine with supporting this theory because when the monitors light up, your controller vibrates. And throughout the entire game, the controller only ever reacts to the cat or B12. However, now that we know that the hive mind is also trying to upload itself into the droids, it wouldn't be unthinkable if the hive mind was in the main network too. And so, in theory, it is possible that when you open Walled City 99, you also unleash the plague upon the world. Can you believe all of this is part of a game where a cat falls down a hole? I didn't even go into the security drones that were supposed to be protecting people, but now they just hunt all droids without purpose. I love the moment near the end of the game where you lose B12 for a bit, who was translating everything for you. And for an entire chapter, you have to play through the game as just a cat. It really reminds you what the game is about. You are just a cat. The big world problems, they are still out there, but you are just a cat. And there you have it. Simply said, while the story was good, the lore this game brought to the table
the lore
is
really brought it up.
insane. I like to think that the chances of getting Stray 2 are small. The story of the cat was closed and making a sequel wouldn't do much. In fact, I don't really wanna see Stray 2. What I really do wanna see is more games from this universe. I
Yeah,
wanna
that'd be
see
cool.
what happened when World City 99 was opened and all the droids started exploring
Yeah,
Earth
that'd be
again.
cool.
Let me play as one of the droids. I wanna see what happened to the hive mind after it started creating an army of zombie
Or we can play as
robots.
the
I wanna
human
see
that
what kind of
possessed the
apocalypse
robot,
happened
you
in
know?
the other 98 world cities. And most importantly, I just want another game with those amazing haptic feedbacks. And it's not just because I like cats.
You have a problem.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring this up. He has like a model now. He looks so cute.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate all of you. And since this is the first video in this kind of series, I would really appreciate hard feedback. I mostly want to make my videos
100%. I'll
faster
definitely
paced
leave
so that
something in the
people don't
comments for
fall
you.
asleep when I'm exploring lore. Also, feel free to become a member of the channel because there I am constantly teasing future
Of
videos.
course, support
Again,
Necrit,
thank you all,
guys.
and I'll
He
see you
deserves it.
next time.
Guys, that was amazing. As like one of the like first videos of the year, especially when it comes to like not dealing with like League, that was really well done and really interesting, and it made me want to like do more stuff when it comes to like finding out more stuff about Stray and stuff like that. I don't know what the next video he's gonna do, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm really interested to see what games he's gonna cover this whole year. Cause yeah, like no, this was a great video. This was a really great video. Yeah, be sure to actually watch the original video. Please give Necrit the love and support he deserves. This guy works so hard. I really love the part with he actually had I don't know if he made it or had someone commissioned to make it, but that little droid Necrit with like his top hat and everything, that was really cool. That was really dope. But yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for give me your support. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you guys want more stuff in the future. If you guys want to know more about more stuff in the future that I'm uploading, please like the notification bell, and yeah, I'm gonna see y'all later. Bye.